So here's an example of the profit in day one. This is the P&L in day one. We see the formula here. This is similar to the formula I showed earlier, but this is specifically for day one, where the delta is 58.24, and the profit and loss at the end of day one is, we see the change between the initial price of 40 and the price at the end of day one. We also have the change in the call price from the initial price of $2.78 to whatever the call price is at the end of day one. We have the 45-cent cost associated with the T-bills. And we can see that at the end of day one, we calculated a 50-cent profit associated with the stock price move to $40.50. That was in our earlier calculation. And you can see that in day one, here's a profile. This is a calculation done by simply looking at different stock prices for S1, calculating the different call prices, and evaluating the P&L curve. And you can see that the market maker in day one profits, if we just look at it, and that looks like probably $39 and let's call it 30 cents. And that looks like roughly $40 and maybe 65 cents. So it looks as though if the stock price moves at the end of day one, any value between roughly $39.30 and $40.65, the market maker is going to make some money. And there's offsetting effects in this profit. And then what we have is, for price moves outside that range, we see the market maker has a loss at the end of day one. And what's important to note here is there's a tension between two different effects for the market maker. Namely, there's a gamma loss. The market maker is short gamma. So no matter which way stock prices move, the market maker is losing gamma. And there's a theta gain. This graph can be really understood in terms of the tension between two pieces of the market maker's P&L statement. The market maker is short gamma, so will always lose money on gamma, and is making money on theta. So what we see is that for a small range of stock price movements, the gamma loss is small, and it's outweighed by the theta gain. And then what happens is that as one looks at bigger stock price moves, the gamma gain, the gamma loss increases, and of course the theta gain is fixed. So if one could imagine that the actual theta part of this gain, if we subtracted it, it would be a constant. If we looked at this profit and loss minus the theta gain, it would look something like this. I'm trying to draw this curve parallel to the other. And namely, at a price, if we ignored the theta gain, it would drop this P&L curve by the value of theta. And we would see that at a price of 0, or 40, a price change of 0, which is a $40 stock price, the market maker comes out even, or just negative 45 cents because of the cost of the borrowing. But the rest of the effect is all gamma. So I guess to be perfectly accurate, I should have said that we have a theta gain, which is fixed, and we also have an interest rate loss. Right? We always lose on gamma, we always lose on interest rate, and we always make money on gains. So this is a graph that gives you the tension between these three moving parts. And since I and theta are fixed, this graph is virtually all gamma. So the observations on the graph, I've already made most of them, is that the market maker profits for small moves and loses for large moves of stock. And that's because of the short gamma position. If the market maker was hedging a long call, so for example, if the investor called the market maker and instead of wanting to buy a call, wanted to in fact short a call, so the market maker was long the call, all of these graphs would be flipped. Right? So again, we need to pay attention to is the market maker long or short. In that position, the market maker would be long a call and would be hedging that long position by shorting stocks and buying T-bills. then the P&L gets reversed. If you buy T-bills, interest is now a profit item, and so forth. You can think through that detail. The question then is, when is the P&L zero? We saw graphically roughly where that was, and so what we'd now like to do is investigate this a little more quantitatively.